Good morning. Just getting set up. And welcome to all the new followers. Thank you for following. I'm gonna go through and tune my network for a moment. What I mean by that is I turn all the kid devices off. I'll get Wi-Fi right now. Okay, that's done. Check. Something on the network is doing something. Probably one of my machines here. Guessing it's gonna be like Chrome or Firefox. They probably want their piece of the internet. Oh, Chrome's good. Chrome's just chilling. Huh. Morning, Nomad. How are ya? Might be the first one here today, Nomad. I'm all right. All right. It's, did a bit of gardening last night. Planted some hops, actually. Neighbor has some hops. Some rose bushes. Got my socks all messy yesterday. I was wearing wearing some boots while wearing shorts and using a chainsaw. Terrible combination because you just end up with chainsaw shavings in your boots on your socks. But yeah, that was yesterday. Yes, hops for beer. Of course. Oh, I didn't go back to the code. So sorry. Let me try the windowed projector thing. See if that still works for me. Right. There we go. Yeah, we live in an area where hops apparently grow pretty well. Neighbor had some. There's some north of us, actually. Colder climate that some big farms up there. All right. Wow. I left this going since yesterday. Same there. Yeah. But I love the smell. Love the smell of hops. I don't like most beers. I like some beers and I actually like IPAs. I like things that are pretty hoppy. Because as I've gotten older, my tastes have changed. Oh, a brewery tour. Nice. Yeah, they are incredibly bitter. They're very bitter. So it turns out that it was the cookie that was being the problem yesterday. And it had to do, because the host name was localhost. Something about my browser setup doesn't like sending that localhost cookie. I don't know why. Oh, they're going pretty well. I haven't touched this since yesterday, so since our last stream. Well, I did a little tiny bit afterwards, and basically it was the cookies, the host stuff that was prohibiting it from connecting locally. That and I had it marked as secure, which of course we're not using SSL, so that doesn't work. But yeah, it wasn't the warp path end that was the issue. It was the cookie that was keeping it from matching. And reroute that to game. Also noticed that one of the issues I was having was that when we do get redirected to the home page, it loads that page from cache because we're not telling it to not cache that page. I do think I want that page cached, the HTML on that page cached. So we will move away from this. Probably use something like game instead or whatever it is, and then we'll just redirect to game. Oops. Not using cookie yet. But I'd like to try to get OpenID set up so that we can log in. See, I'm gonna have to do some of that in Chrome. Because we're going to need some creds and whatever that I can't show on stream. It's like the hard thing about streaming, you know? Is this game developers claim through game to access insights and drops? Oh, interesting. Fine. I think I want to register an application. I'm going to go ahead and do that. When testing locally, you can set this to http://localhost. Maximum of 10 redirects is supported. Okay, good. Category, and this is going to be, I guess, game integration. I know, I'm sorry, this is camera, but it'll only take a moment. I hope I can actually edit this after it's created. Okay, great. They gave me a client ID, client secret. I need to create a new secret. And then they asked me if I'm client ID, I think is just public, so that doesn't matter. Before we do this, let's make sure I'm going to do a where's my get ignore on this? Because I got like little preview buffers and all sorts of things that will going to be very willing to show my secrets. I was looking at Tower. Tower's done by the same guys that do Warp. By the Tokyo people, basically. Or Sean Monster does Warp. I think Sean Monster also does Tower. But Tower has some other cool stuff in it. It's got rate limiting. It's got all sorts of other really cool things that you would use to build a service. I think you can actually use Tower along with Warp for some things, but I don't know exactly. Right. That's strange. I don't believe that I can't believe I don't have that file. Is there not a git ignore file? Because normally when you create one of these projects, it adds one for you. Really, not there either. All right. Well, that actually wasn't all that helpful. Any environment files or .env star files? env.stars. So I'm gonna have to put like production credentials and whatever in there. Targets, that's going away. Okay. Now for this project, we will also need, I've been using a lot of Museum's crates lately. For anybody that's not familiar or that's new to the stream, Museum's been actually a really great mentor to me for learning Rust. I really, really appreciate it. Never met Museum in real life. Don't know Museum by anything other than Museum. They're the one that makes what features. Also some other cool things like Twitch chat, which I use on one of my other projects. So yeah, uptime. That thing's still off? I gotta start that thing again. He's got this really sweet, small env loader. This thing is great. Very simple environment loader. Spaces are optional, double quotes are removed, etc., etc. But one of the nice things about this is that you can load multiple files. So you can have like your base configs and then override them with production configs or development configs, whatever it is. And that makes it actually very easy for me to do this stuff for streaming because I can have like the common configs and then, hide the stuff that I can't show on screen inside of like the other file. So that's really nice. We're gonna load that. I gotta get my hands on the right place on the keyboard. Now with Rust though, yeah. What does the server architecture look like so far? This here is different than actually Legacy. This is kind of like a little tangent off of Legacy. Let me see. If you want to get into Legacy, I can show you a little bit about that. Okay, we're using actually Jaeger for the statistics and logging. Still have some Prometheus stuff in that I'm probably going to keep around for gauges, as Jaeger doesn't really do um, gauges like Prometheus does. So, oh, EI, I'm at EI. We're at 10K line count for this. Wow. Considering that a lot of that was rewritten and we produced, what was it, that other crate, which is Stream Multiplexer, which isn't in this directory. So essentially, the way that the game works, and it's not going to be something we're going to work on today. We're going to be working on trying to get OAuth and Open Connect working for a little space battle game. However, Legacy, did I put that in the to-do file? I think I must have. Yeah. So this is what it used to look like. We used to have Actix with Game Master and ECS, connections, etc., etc. Right now, it looks like a better architecture diagram would be that we use Stream Multiplexer. And Stream Multiplexer connects or takes a bunch of connections. I'll kind of put dots out here for TCP connections, and those could be on multiple servers. Okay. And then they kind of get funneled. Oops, come on, my ASCII art is lacking today. Those then get funneled up into the game master or the game server, right? And that'll go either through auth or actual game. And there's one other stage in here, which is like character selection. Okay. Because of the way the Stream Multiplexer works, it provides back pressure per category of stream, which is really nice. Because the game server and the authentication will only pull stuff in and authenticate things as quickly as it can be handled. Right, same with selecting your characters or doing stuff in game. So I can actually allocate more resources on the same server or on different servers to actually running the game as opposed to auth and selection. So it's like a party, right? You can only fit so many people into a building, and that sort of natural back pressure of pulling data off the network lets you do that. So the game itself is really just built on Tokyo using async await and that sort of natural back pressure idea, where as stuff is coming in off of those multiplex streams, they get put into kind of different places where the packets are handled. I am using oh, what is it? It's specs. Oh, that's in game state. Yeah. So I'm using specs, or kind of like to use an analogy, it's a game board, right, with a game master, and the game board is all the state of the game, along with like character sheets or whatever. Sorry to use D&D analogies here, but then you have game master that actually moves things around on the board, and specs is the game state. Right? And then you have the GM, which is kind of the rule keeper. Okay. And then, if we were to look at this, we have a bunch of database stuff. Cosmos here is used for generating random things in the universe. We have character and connection state. Authentication, we kind of already touched on, and that's really just, authenticating. Can you create an account? Can you select a character from your account, etc.? Spiner is the database wrapper. So we have the DB stuff and then one more layer on top of that. TCP server, which is what hooks into Stream Multiplexer. And, well, Twitch stuff, of course. We're also using, what is it? We're using Diesel's migration capability for managing DB migrations. And we're using for the tests something else. No, we did something, but basically for every test, for all the integration tests, a database is set up and destroyed essentially for each and every integration test, which is fine because I'd rather have it tested end to end with a kind of a very consistent, as much code as possible in an integration test being run. So we test integration from database all the way to basically a stream multiplexer is this thing that's faked out at the other end. So it's a very kind of thorough integration test. And come on, close it. There we go. That's kind of a high level of game server thing. This isn't correct anymore. When I first created it, it was much more like this. Is it playable yet? At some actually, good question. I wonder if it will play today. Actually, it'll take a little bit to build because I updated Rust. Let's let that go for a bit. As far as I got it was to have random islands generated. Basically, as you go throughout the world, your path describes where you are in the world. So as you've walked that path, that's where you are. To get to where you are, you can't take another path. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's by island. And so you can walk all over our island, sure. But as you navigate from island to island to island, if you went northeast, southwest, you would not be back at the first island that you started at. You would be at some other island. So you'd have to backtrack to get back to where you started. But all of that should be working. I don't have island resources yet, so you can like pull things off of an island, or the ability to like see monsters or other elements in the world. I would like to get to that. But I thought the little space battle game would be a fairly quick, and it's actually been kind of fun, a tangent. But it should be playable. I think I left it in a decent state. Some of the tests might be broken though. Oh, here we go. Oh, SIMD noise takes forever to build. Bogus. Oh, that's in Forge? Do I need Forge? I don't need Forge for this. That's right, we'd have been working on Forge. And Forge is kind of like a web-based kind of world management system. So you can create new biomes or new kinds of biomes and new elements via this this portal. Let's go into, I call it just server. Terrible name because it's like legacy server, legacy server. We just need it in here. We don't need to build Forge or the Twitch stuff. I was in the workspace, so it was building everything earlier. I really, really appreciate how Rust does kind of dependency management and resource management. At work the other day, we had basically somebody had written a tool. It was in Go, and well, they had left the company, but the tool was still there, and we needed to modify the tool. So this code showed up from somewhere on my desk. It's like, okay, well, I don't know Go. Let's see if we can fix it or modify it. And so check it out, try to build it. You don't have the right dependencies. Okay, where do I get those? How do I get those? What do you do? And it's just not apparent where to find these things because it's actually looking for them elsewhere on my box. Like somebody had hard coded some path to some other location on there. Okay. Oh, it is starting. Dependencies in Go, yeah. I hadn't touched Go before. I mean, I'd read a bunch about it. I like a lot of the ideas that they have. A lot of if you listen to some of the Tokyo chatter, you'll eventually, or in their even their bug system, their task system, you'll see that they ask, well, how did Go handle this? You see a lot of stuff about Go. Binaries are statically linked. Even the runtime is in there. Interesting. But if it says that you're expecting to have a certain dependency, how do you get it? Like with Rust, you have cargo. And you say, cargo build this, cargo, and it just manages all the dependencies, does all this stuff. With like web stuff, you have NPM. And with like C and C++, you have static libraries just on the system that you install. Go.mod file. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, I'm gonna start up Godot. I see, so the Go.mod file, what do you feed that to? They added a manifest called, okay. The log file is called go.sum. Got it. Log into the game. Let's test this. Captain Bubba Joe. There we go. Let's see what kind of island Captain Bubba Joe gets. Ooh, an Arctic biome. Go full screen on this. Gonna remember. That's like everything. How do I make the game bigger? I'm gonna try to make that larger in just a moment. Is it flickering for you? It looks like it's flickering for me. Getting flickers on that. I don't know why. Okay, so this is the island. It's randomly generated. It's using fractal Brownian motion. Drag and drop. Yeah, I'm using OBS. I don't have like the typical setup. I have to. There we go. Make that bigger. Okay, so the way that this works is that you end up on your own island. We have Connor there in the middle. I know this is Captain Bubba Joe though. And when you head off of your island, you go in some direction. All that flicker is just bugging me so much. What is it about that? Huh. Seems slightly better now. I did something with the window. Anyhow, but you go off in a direction, okay? And in that direction, the first direction that you head to and you get to is what I call the Big Island. And the Big Island is where you would meet other people. Like everybody, their first link from their home island is the Big Island, and it's big. Um, if you go to one of the other directions, then so we went to the Big Island. Now, if we start to kind of wander off from our home and we go north from here, we've found another little Arctic biome island. Now, the world just generated this for us, and basically the idea is that we'd be able to go and get resources, and other people wouldn't have the same sort of connection between the worlds and the islands that we do. This looks like a jungle island to me. It looks like a very large jungle island. Um, if we were to then go south from here, right? We went north and we went east. If we go south past the jungle island, we have here a desert island. Oh, a desert island with a little pond in it. This actually looks like a very, very large desert island. But the idea is that you'd be able to, after I start populating these biomes with world entities like trees and rocks and shrubberies and resources, right? All the things that you would typically do, like mining and resource gathering to build other things. Um, You'd then be able to trade them on the Big Island because I'd like to have some sort of trading economy. This is north, south, east, west. This is where we should have come back to our own island, but this is a different Arctic island, and this is not our home. So we actually have to go back and follow our footsteps back because our map through the world is really based on, like, our destination is how we got there. So there's an infinite number of islands out there, and in order to kind of crew up and go on adventures, you can go to the Big Island, find some sort of party to pair up with, and then that party leader, you would use their map. So if they found like a troll cave or whatever that you want to go and destroy things in, then you can do that. And then the further you get from your home island, the more treacherous the world becomes. So there's that little Arctic one. Now home should be just over here. And this was the home island for Captain Bubba Joe. Looking in your direction. Yeah, I'm actually considering making the world less flat, of course. Right now it's kind of a prototype for randomly generated stuff and connections throughout the world. Um, Having that sort of perspective, I think, would be nice. This here was originally set up to do a bit more of a Don't Starve-esque sort of feel. Is it possible for them to change the seeds of the captains? No, actually, the seeds of the captain is actually based on the UUID that's generated for them. So that would be their database ID. So I guess it technically could be possible to regenerate a new UUID for the captain. Hadn't thought of that before, but yeah, that's possible. But I think so. The other way that this works is that nobody else has access to your home island, which is nice, unless you bring them to your home island. But if you start to build stuff on here, you're not going to get a troll just wandering in and like destroying things. Um, Maybe people would want to share the same generated world for all players on the server. They so there will be overlap between the islands that people go to. They won't all just be generated. So you're going to have a mix of islands that were generated just as you walked around the world, and and islands that are kind of in that pool or that class of island in terms of like a risk versus reward sort of class. But if you're only like one island out from your home, it's going to be pretty low risk and pretty low reward. But you might find others that are also kind of playing in that same level on those islands because I think there's going to be a mix, right? And depending on server load and whatnot, it'll be spread out. So you may or may not actually find people that are close. But yeah, it's going to feel kind of populated as well, but not overrun, if that makes sense. So the randomly generated worlds are really going to be randomly generated as um, kind of server population need dictates. But this is what it looks like, and it does still run. But yeah, this was originally set up using Actix, the kind of actor framework in Rust, which I really, really liked. Um, I wanted to be able to do testing a little bit different and to learn async await, so spent 3 months undoing it all and putting it back together using async await without Actix. So we're not using Actix anymore. Yeah, I think being able to look around would be nice. I kind of go back and forth on that. I'm getting some like strange network issues. Kilobytes per second was actually really low. Okay, lost some frames there. All right. Today though, I'm hoping to work on the space battle sim, which is over here. Yeah, you can see that as things are being fetched, it's loading up these images here. You can see this is an island, static island PNG. And what happens though is when the server generates an island, it generates a tiny PNG. It's an 8-bit PNG, and that gets fed into the shaders on the client. So that whole island, each one of those islands was just shader data. There was like no model there, all just shader data. So there we go. Shut it down. Let's see. Let's create a .env file. And let's see. I'm gonna put something in there and see if it shows up in this list. No, that's good. Okay, because I'm gonna have to drop secrets in there. Also, yeah, we're still in FE test. That's good. Good, good. That's fine. Okay. We need that env bit though. What I don't remember what Museum's thing was called. Actually, let me close that buffer there. It was simple env something or other. Simple env load. Cargo. Add. Wait, let's look. Cargo, what features? No. Okay, cargo. Yeah, that's there. Go ahead and set that up. Documentation on that. And this is one of the things I love about this, that you can load from multiple files. That is the best. I'm so surprised that other things don't do this. Or at least they don't make it so simple. Let's see, where's main? There's main. Logger, simply in vload. Do whatever we wanted in there. All production stuff, it's all just environment variables anyways. That there doesn't matter. I wonder, check. Yeah, let that do its thing. I'm gonna go populate those secrets. CD. What is it? This is Project Genesis. CD. Server. CD FE test. There we go. We're gonna have client ID and was it secret, client secret. All right, and let's put the secrets in there. There we go. That's done. Okay. Make sure, still can't see them. Good, good, good. So now that we have that, we need to find the Twitch OAuth endpoints. Getting started with Twitch, yada yada yada. Where's sample code? Wow, they got a lot of stuff in here. Most of this I don't care about. Getting a client ID. No, we want the OAuth. Was it OIDC? OpenID Connect. Okay, so we do this with our client ID, redirect, response type scope, etc. Okay, we'll need that in a moment. The other thing that we need, yesterday we chose a different library that it's OpenID Connect, the Twitch library, not Twitch, Rust. Oh, so going back to the Godot something, like cargo, go build, we'll look for the file on dependencies, but it didn't do that for me. Yeah, it didn't actually go back and do anything. It's like the developer had put files in a specific location on their development machine, which is gone now, and that library is just gone. Yeah, I'm not sure how to add that little browser warning font providing system. Either that or color it. I choose like a fuchsia or something. Oh, there's a shadow. I didn't see that you could scroll this. Drop shadow. Wow. Outline. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I can do that. I'm more of a developer than a. Let's kill the drop shadow. I'm more of a developer than an OBS streamer person. Okay, thank you for that suggestion. I was looking at This Week in Rust. If you don't know about This Week in Rust, it's awesome. Highly suggest it. Stay up to date with Rust. All right. Raids.io. Very technical. It is. It is. It's good to see little things in there. Also, some of the little bits that I like. Call for participation is actually really neat. So if somebody like could use help on a crate or wants a new maintainer or something like that, that sort of stuff will be in there. Also a good place to kind of get hooked into maybe doing some open source work. Upcoming events. Some of these have been live streamed recently. I think most of them have been live streamed. Yeah, so that's cool. Might actually pay attention to some of these. I wish there was one close to me. That's funny because I don't live near anything. Yep, jobs, etc. So, specs and Rust in general are crazy fast, faster than I can replicate and see. Amazing. Interesting. Yeah, the state of the PRs and RFCs. I think those should actually be maybe further down. Although there are sometimes elements that I look for in here. There was one recently, which I have. What was it? It was the ability to go from an array into a vector. So being able to declare some array, a comma b, and take that into something that go into vec, something like that. And I think that's going to be in here soon. That's that's one of their trying to remember the term for it. Const function enhancements that'll be coming in soon. So instead of having to create a vector all the time, create an array, and they can go into other iterables and things. I didn't yet. I wasn't sure how stable that was, but if it's faster, I would definitely try it for test stuff, dev stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen him online recently. He does lurk in here occasionally. Yeah, I think he always has a bot in here actually. Well, I think his chat client, of course, he's built a chat client, is always connected here. So yeah, all this text is going to show up in his chat client. He has an IRC bouncer. Oh, that's cool. That's fun. All right, but we were coming into here because I was going to go look at crates.io and open the connect. This guy. We are using the alpha one, but I wanted to use the async versions of this stuff. selecting an HTTP interface, etc. We already have warp, so hopefully that's okay. Yep, and we basically have this version of this. You never know. And Pepper Your Angus, thank you for the follow. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness, I am so glad it is Friday. A very emotional week. So, yeah, sometimes it's hard to kind of like be the rock, you know? Like, okay, stable and enduring. But yeah, this week my wall came down. You thought it was Saturday. I have some bad news, Cat Peasant. One more day. Unless you're in Japan. I was looking at the Twitch API. So yes, we're going to be setting up login via Twitch into this. I want to be able to set up a cookie and a token. I've got secure stuff. So we're just gonna snag some of this in here so that we can make a login flow and log in via Twitch into this process. Async await API. So this is the one that we want. So we're using async await. Now let's see, how much of this do I actually need right here? Use OpenID Connect, discovery to fetch provider. Okay. Wow, this is cool. I love this idea. This was such a terrible, terrible thing in OAuth, having to basically transcribe all of these different things from all these different places. Create an OpenID Connect. Okay. Client secret authorization URL and URL token. Fine. So I'll basically have to create a new redirect URL and pass that out. We can do that. I'm just looking through the flow real quick to make sure I understand what's going on before we actually try to plug it in. From provider metadata, create this client, generate a challenge, pull authorization URL with scope for the challenge, and this gives us author URL, CSRF token, and a nonce. Okay, and then we do the redirect. Okay, let's get that going. That should redirect them to there, go through the auth flow, come back. Then we'll need to get the stuff out of whatever came back. Once the user has been redirected to the URL, you'll have to access the authorization code. Oh, you'll have access to the authorization code. For security reasons, your code should verify that the state parameter returned from the server matches the CSRF state. Got it. You can exchange it for an access token and ID. This is going to be tricky to stream without like leaking credentials and stuff. But it should be okay as long as we're not dropping. Okay, what's going to be the stuff that we don't want to leak? We don't want to leak, of course, our secrets. Yeah, let's pull this in. We want to put this in some other module, so we're going to go do that. It's going to be in source. Let's call it oidc.rs. OpenID Connect. Okay, we're just going to take this. This will need to be put into some sort of async function. Okay, take this. Pub async function. What do we call this? Gen URL. Something, who knows? Gonna return something else. Fine. Oh, AOU. How about that? Get rid of the AOU bits. Let's plug this into main. Mod OIDC. Okay, now we're back in OIDC. Standalers are kicked on. Fantastic. Oh, URL. Argo add URL. Good, now it knows URL, and we got our formatting. Take those, put those up there. Provider metadata, okay. So what is Twitch's OIDC discovery endpoint? Does anybody happen to know that off the top of their heads? OIDC discovery. Do they not have a discovery endpoint? They have a user endpoint. Wah, wah. Code authorization flow. Keep going up. Your registered token ID, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't look like they have discovery. That's too bad. I was really hoping to use that. I think Google has discovery on their stuff. Oh, thank you, Google. What does it think I asked it? My phone just was eavesdropping. Like I found these results. Anyhow, good ID tokens and optional user access tokens. I just want the auth tokens. Send the user you want to authenticate to your registered URI, then authorize. Then an authorization page will ask the user to sign up. Okay. What was the difference there? Just the type. Okay. I was reading the text here that describes them and I couldn't find a difference. And it turns out there wasn't one. All right, so looks like we have to skip a step because we don't get to do the discovery stuff. That's too bad. Pub async function gen URL, gen Twitch URL Twitch. That's got to be the hardest thing in programming, naming things. It's like part of the art that just is tough. All right, now if I don't get to use the discovery stuff, we'd have to provide this metadata bits from something else. or create the core client from other parts. Yeah, let's delete that out of there, toss that in here, down. There we go. Just double check, we're not in the browser, good. Okay, Twitch doesn't get this. It does make me sad a little bit. Okay, now this core client from provider metadata. Figure out what is this core client that I speak of. Modules, structs, core client. Oh, no, I want this in the structs. Okay, let's just scroll down. Or what do we want? A client here? I want to search for core client. Oh, look at that. It's a type definition. Okay, so it's actually a client with empty additional claims, etc. Got it. So there, when we built up this, I guess before I deleted that. Oh, no. Right here, from provider metadata. That's what we were building up, a core client from that. Okay. So if a core client is just a client with a hundred different types already filled in, we'll have to figure out what those are. But it's good to have those available. I'm going to close tabs to the right to make this easy. 29 tabs. Anybody ever find this hard to do? Like the more I do this, the easier it gets, just like destroying tabs to the right. I know that the internet's not going to go away today, hopefully. I know that. All right, that was a bit of a joke in that. Anyhow, logic jokes. Oh, you know what? Hopefully you're a bunch of programmers. And might actually appreciate my favorite joke. So it goes like this. Say knock knock. And then before they can say who's there, say race condition. It goes knock knock, race condition. And then they say who's there. And that's it. It's awesome. It's wonderful. And nobody ever appreciates it. Except for coders that have done multi-threaded programming. It's an awesome joke. Try it out. All right, so we have core client there. It's decent. Okay, all right. Oh, wow, look at additional claims, auth display, gender claims, consent algorithm. Okay, so you're basically just configuring this whole client via types. Knock, race condition knock. That is good too. All right. All right, so we create a new one of these, client secret, issuer, auth URL, etc. From provider metadata. It looks like this provider metadata has a bunch of those. Authorization URL, yeah, and that's what we're gonna have to provide. Okay, so let's just try using the base one with the generics here, these types. Okay, so instead of that, we're gonna do let client. All right, and that new one's a client ID and a client secret. Ooh, okay. let client ID equal env var. No, var. I think that's what it is. Standard env var, technically. I like to separate these out in like mine and ours, mine, and theirs. Whatever. So if you have a workspace, I'll do something where like, this crate goes here, anything that we're importing from our current stuff, and then anything from the workspace, then anything from the dependencies, and then standard. Because sometimes they get kind of mixed up. Just makes it easy to see right off. All right, var, and we want client ID. Okay. Dot unwrap. Expect. Okay. I think I called it client secret. I'm gonna find var and env. Really? Env. Oh, var. I thought there was a macro. I didn't realize it was just a function. Okay. A macro. Client ID, client secret. What else? Issuer URL. Auth URL. Okay, so what is the issuer URL here? And token URL. That's an option. All right, so we need this issuer URL. URL using the HTTP scheme with no query or fragment components. That the OP asserts is the issuer identifier. Oh, looks like we need to create one of these. Or do they say... Don't do this like from stir or anything. From URL. And new, you can pass a URL in. Oh, interesting. Okay, URL and then join it. There must have been some need to concatenate there. All right, and here is a issuer URL. Let now in this setup, oh, you know what? History. Look at that. I had closed my tabs before, and I needed to get back to something. And it turns out the internet is still there. I hope it's going to be this one. Authorization code flow. Okay. I actually used my history to find that page again. So this is a different page, but it worked. Gonna give it that. Oh, it expects an actual string dot to string, sure, or to owns. There we go. There's issuer URL. And next, it wants auth URL. Guess this is going to look very similar. Let auth URL equal to. I should probably pull these from like the config file as well. Okay, I'm going to put those in there. Whoa, Vim, stop it. Let Twitch. Yeah. We get it. Okay. Gonna go move that. Twitch auth AU THAU. All right, that's in the config file now. There we go. Which that's kind of an issuer URL. Whatever. Okay. Now auth URL. This isn't where they come back to, is it? What is this? Auth URL of the authorization server's authorization endpoint. Ooh, I got the wrong one there. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be the Twitch endpoint. What's the difference between the auth URL and the issuer URL? That the OP asserts as its identifier. What is OP in this case? Is OP the open provider? Open. All right. Excuse me. Okay. What do they need here? They need your registered redirect URL. This must match exactly. Yes, but that's not it. Huh. Maybe it's just the base of this? How to validate OpenID Connect token? No. Yeah, we're gonna probably just. We'll figure it out in a bit. Auth URL. Okay, then after the auth URL, token URL, which is optional. URL of the authorization server's token endpoint. Okay, I'm going to pass none in for that at the moment. Looks like it's optional. User info endpoint, also none. And JSON web key set. Create a new JSON web key set. How in the world do you do that? To verify the signature of the ID tokens, we host a public JSON web key here. All right. Oh, that's over here. That's their URL for that. The Twitch JSWK URL equal env var JSWK. Huh. Okay, let me drop that in the secrets file. Twitch JSWK URL. And what was the other one? The other one was their yeah, there's access token, blah blah blah. Implicit flow, okay, sure. Introduction. Claims non-state, good. Going activity. Localhost is fine to test with, got it. If the user authorizes your application, good. Payload of the JWT, which is on there somewhere. These things, fine. And a sample response. Okay, that's great. Now here's their JWT, JWK. How to validate an OpenID Connect token. Fine, okay, and this is where we were before. Okay, I think, let's see, did we get back into the code? There we go. Some of these aren't pulled in yet. Auth URL, where is that? Oh, there we go. Expected struct, client ID found string. Interesting. I wonder why they did it that way. Start thinking. What is the benefit of that? I mean, it gives you a type that you can do stuff with. I guess it keeps you from confusing things. It names that string, the type of that string. Expected enum. Option of client secret. Okay. Now, did they actually do something where they could go into some? Guessing on that one. Okay, it still wants it to be. The into there is going to wrap it in a sum. Expected issuer URL. Didn't we do that? Issuer URL is that. Mismatch times expected struct. Issuer URL found result. Oh, that returns a result? Source live. No, it's not in there. Same thing there. Okay. Oh yes, and this one you get from the JWT stuff. Okay, so we have this JSON Web Token auth URL thing. Now they also had a neat setup for that, where you could say, "Oh, fetch this," and it'll go do it for you. So we can call fetch async on that, give it a URL and an HTTP client. Interesting. I guess we'll have to pass an HTTP client in here, which would be nice because then you could reuse connections and do all sorts of other cool stuff. We need the JSON web key set. What is it? Let JW JSON web key set equals JSON. Oh my goodness. How do they do capitalization? No, okay, so they did lowercase SON web key. That is like the hardest thing I've typed all morning. Fetch async. We have to give it that URL, which is actually they want this wrapped in a JSON web key set URL. JWKS is equal to that. New. Okay. Is that going to throw? It does. It returns a result. Okay. Oh, you don't know where that is. That is in. There. Oh, same with that one. Okay. You know what? We're doing a star there. Okay. There's a lot of setup to doing one of these things. Now, I think fetch async on this returns. Yeah, we have to await it, but then once we do await it, what do we get from there? I see it's going to be a result of a self or a discovery error. Fine. And we're missing the other portion there. We need a HTTP client. In the documentation, they show HC, or HC is a F1s with a HTTP request. F, which is a future. Okay. Oh, interesting. That's a neat way to do that. Huh. If we look at that, just have a request builder. Oh, that's handy. Pass that in. Too far down. Here. Oh, it's already there. Async. I love that the Rust formatter sorts those. So very convenient. All right, what's a reference to that? Okay. Good, getting down there. Okay. Now we have this Twitch auth URL. That is, I thought that was a JSON web key URL thing. Oh. Go back. How many are we in? We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th argument. Okay. That's a JSON web key set. All right. Now from provider metadata, this is what we could have used if they had that URL. That would have been really nice. A lot of boilerplate just. Okay. Now. Localhost slash that login. I don't know. Toss that in there for a moment. There we go. Generate the PKCE. Auth URL. SRF token nonce. All right, now how do we get these elements here, we need to include auth URL, CSRF token, and nonce. Gotta go back to the top of their documentation. That gives us the URL. And the CSRF token and the nonce. I think we have to verify when they come back. Okay. I think we need to actually return that. Because once that's there, the whole flow will go through. Actually, we need to store that, don't we? Because we're going to have to basically call this function every single time somebody goes through authentication. Yes, yes, yes. Because we can't use the same nonce, we can't use the same, well, all of this stuff. Okay. That is interesting. So I'm going to have some sort of shared hash map or something to store this in. And what do I look it up by? The CSRF token? Okay, we have URL. Now for the CSRF token, where does that live? And that's at the top level. We can get rid of these. And the nonce. I'm not bouncing back and forth between the browser and this with the stream because I don't think that's all that interesting. Okay, so we have that. We have this. But this verifier, we're going to need that, aren't we? All right, we'll get to that in a bit. But I think this stuff down here is going to need to be verified in a bit. I'm going to just toss it for now. We're not going to do anything with that. We're going to use the auth URL to redirect with. Where's main? All right, so from the home page, we're going to need to start some sort of Twitch login flow. .or path Twitch login. And let's say it's going to be a get. What else? We're not going to have any cookies or anything. We don't have to worry about that. See, this is going to be asynchronous, so we have to do a and then. We can't do an async closure yet, but we can have an async block here that we do something in. Okay. So inside of here with the and then, we'll be calling that other function, which was OIDC gen Twitch URL. This. I'm gonna have some sort of response builder. I wonder how much of that stuff we could actually store in the cookie. Does that even make sense to store that in the cookie? We're thinking about. I'll have to await that. Just unwrap that for now. And then we have auth URL here. Then those other two elements, which were not live, closest buffer. The CSRF token and the nonce. Okay. So we're going to do a temporary redirect. We're not setting any cookies yet. Body is nothing. I wanted this to just do a one of those, but that didn't seem to work before. All right, or exists, but the following stuff was not satisfied. Oh, and then is not implemented for HTTP error. All right. Let's go look at Forge. Hold on. Is this Forge? This looks like Forge. Okay. Yeah, and then that works like that. Do we just need to wrap that so it knows what the types are like that? Copy that. Toss it to the bottom. Take all that out of there. This is down here. Get rid of that. Ooh, that got butchered. Want to delete in left parentheses. Good. And toss that down there. Okay, we'll try using Twitch login here instead. Where was our sync bit there? Twitch login. Okay, a little closer. Oh, does that need to be an OK? Expected result. Ah, yes, this is not infallible. This is standard HTTP error. Can we not return that there like that? Or pre-exports that over there. All right, and then these are upset because should be okay with that. This or not really a continuation of this previous one, right? Yeah. Because in this other project, we have these long chains where we do a bunch of filtering, a bunch of buildup, and then in this asynchronous block here. Oh, I see. But here we also define the error, the filter. Oh, that's different. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be a big difference. Because this is not returning that. Okay, let's break that out. I keep forgetting I cannot copy between the tmux vim elements there. I want that return type. I'm going to say this is, oh, that in this case it's not asynchronous yet. Function Twitch login. Gonna be one of these, one of those, and that. Now inside of here, then we can start to fill in all of the filters. Okay. This returned value is of type filter and then yada yada. Do that, and then come in here, do this. Who uses this? Yeah, and that comes down to infallible and doesn't have a recover. Oh, I see. Problem here is that this warp error is not infallible. And if I was returning some sort of error, which really it shouldn't have any sort of issue actually building this up. Can I actually return infallible there, or is that infallible? I think that unwraps it, but then it doesn't give us the right response type because we need a reply. Expected result. No, I changed that to infallible. How do you map an error or just throw away an error to infallible? So you have to unwrap it, deal with it. Well, I guess more accurately, you deal with it. Just make sure it never errors out. I don't think this can actually error out. Unless I'm giving it bad stuff, but this is all going to be pre-baked, so it should be okay. Oh dear. Oh, my wife is so excited. She just got back. Our bees have arrived. Ah, bees. I have never been stung by a bee. That is allergic. She gets stung every year by bees. Don't. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I don't like this pattern. I want to do something else with this. Do this here. We're going to say let response equal to that. Write that. Response. There we go. Ignoring some stuff here. fine. We're not going to redirect to the game. We're going to redirect to the auth URL. Oh, is that of type? To into? Maybe that'll work. I'll try from for that type header value. What did they give us back? Okay, so that gonna be here. We called URL off of client. And this client is a core client, which is just another client. Look at client and look at interesting, I don't see URL on any of these. There's URL. So this is just a regular URL. Okay. Go to the as string. Back to the code. There we go. All right. So we've got to move pile of stuff. Compost. They're gonna have spare bees tomorrow? Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any beekeepers out there? We keep bees. It's hard to keep bees here, actually. Some years we can get them to overwinter. It really depends on the spring as to how well they survive. Because usually it's the spring here that will kind of awaken them and then kill them. It'll get them kind of like warm and going, and then it'll freeze. Which is really, really hard on the bees. They don't like that sort of back and forth. All right. So that should work. Let's see if this will run. See. Let's do this one. No, actually, with Twitch redirect, I think some of these need to actually be fixed a little bit. This is going to bounce us back to login, and login is just going to give us stuff. It doesn't really do anything yet. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. Okay, let's go to the browser. To the browser. Localhost, local crime. Goodness. Okay. This is our server sent events. It should still be server sending events to us. Good. Our templates rendering stuff out. Great. Which login? Oh, hold on. I want to do that yet. I want to open up my dev tools with persisting the logs. Connection was reset. That's not a good sign. Let's see what died. Oh, it's not present. Client ID is not present. I thought I saved that file. Client ID is set. Client secret. Yeah, those are all in there. Where did this thing? Let's see. I'm gonna start it up. I don't have that file technically. Let's try again. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little refresh. Yeah, still client ID should be set. But not warp. Search everything. Actually, do I just have it in here? Simple. There it is. Huh. Okay, that should be fine. That's really strange. Now let's look at standard NV. Oh. Do they have var? All this stuff. I thought they had a macro in here. Hey, give me a couple minutes. I need to change the implement on the front of the tractor. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Be right back. Just gonna toss up the water brake logo. And we're back. Okay. Linux 69. We're doing authentication integration with Twitch, actually. And right now, this here isn't loading. This env var expect. We keep getting the expect firing here. This client ID should be set in the environment. We're loading it. I think it's finding the file. Seems like it should be working there. Okay. Are you curious about Rust? Go and C++ programmer. Okay, yeah. Forever ago, I was a C++ programmer. Shoot, what's your questions? I'll answer them if I can. I've been doing Rust for all of like 6 months, so. Oh, I'm missing the dot there. Oh, that's it. Okay. Actually, we can kill that file. Do you have any more overall info on the game? Yeah, well, currently we're not actually working on kind of my main project. This is a little bit of a tangent. Kind of like a space battle sim game online. Um, but my main game, we actually went over it this earlier this stream. There's probably should probably go through and clip it, make a little vid for that. Yeah, it's kind of like a procedurally generated world. Currently, I'm going for kind of like a Don't Starve, 1 hour, one life, Sunless Seas kind of feel to it. Um, but the multiplayer stuff all works. You can go between islands and experience different procedurally generated islands. They're all dev art right now, so when you do see it, just realize it's all dev art. And it's at the point where I need to start adding entities into the world, right? Trees, rocks, whatever, right? Goblins, all that stuff. Let's see, we're gonna go try our Twitch login bit. Oh, look how that actually worked. Okay. I need. Let's come back to here. Browser, sign up or log in. Should probably create another login, shouldn't I? For experimenting on stream with. Can I have dots? Just all right. All right, well, OBS died. Now, so am I designing your own protocol on top of the CBOR stuff? Yeah, CBOR is really just a serialization thing. Um, yeah, it's very light on top of CBOR. I'm basically using like untagged CBOR, so the protocol is really thin. Too easy. Wow, OBS has gone forever without having any issues, and today, twice in a row. I think I have that email address. Hold on, I'm going to test something. Okay. Invalid scope requested. Read. Okay, that's fine. Is OBS going to? Is it going to behave? Oh my goodness. All right, so basically, I created a little Twitch account for logging in. He basically sent me to this status 400. I'm getting this error. They loaded a ton of stuff just on their login screen. It was amazing. We went through register. I created a new account. Went through authorize, and now here we are. So we have an invalid scope for read on this, and we need to understand what the scopes are. Scopes. Let's include the OpenID scope. Okay, so we'll do that. We want OpenID scope. OIDC. There we go. Okay, and what were the other scopes that they had available? Analytics. Oh, we don't care about any of this. I just want to log people in. Yeah, that's it. Space. Okay. Can I just do OpenID? I don't really care about having anything extra. Chat and pubs. No. Okay. Now we're just gonna try OpenID and go from there. Because, I mean, I don't even want people's email addresses. I could care less. Okay, let's run that again and try this login. Because once we have that, then we have to go through, when they come back, we'll do the verification. But I think some of this other state we need to actually stuff somewhere. Back to the browser, application. There we go. We'll close. Twitch login. Do we get a redirect to here? About to leave Twitch. Twitch has no control over the content of security over genesis.roosterbuckets.com. Continue. Oh, why did it take me there? I thought I gave it the return page. Actually, at least it gave me redirect URI does not match registered URI. That's true. That is true. I thought I could just use localhost and they would be happy with it. Well, if that doesn't work, let's go to the admin panel. I can't do that on screen. You have to add when testing locally, I can set this to localhost. All right, let's see. Save that. Oh, no, I need that to be slash. Yeah, we'll save that. All right. Again, actually, let's go back to the code. I need to validate that the return path is correct. So when they get sent back to us, we're sending them to login. I think I want to send them to login. I want to send them to Twitch validate. Something like that instead. Okay, let me change that in the online settings. Twitch underscore validate. There we go. Saved in the Twitch portal. Okay, now we can try again. Okay, that quote unquote should work because I have this exact URL in the Twitch admin panel. So, LionX69, you wanted to know a little bit more about Rust, but what about Rust are you curious about? All right. Created less than a day ago. Awesome. Not owned by Twitch. I like that little created less than a day ago. That's great. That's great. Okay, and that sent me back here with all this lovely stuff in it. Very nice. Stage, scope. Nice. All right. Let's set up the Twitch validate for state, scope, and code.
All right, which function? Yeah. Which validate? Set a path. We want Twitch validate. This is going to be a get. We need some extra filters from this though. Need query path stuff. All right, so we're going to pull the three things out of there. The code and a couple other things. Warp. Was it filters? Did I? Okay, so we do have a filter. And query. Code. Code. I have two more. What were they? Code, scope, and state. Okay. Do an and then. We'll follow the same pattern as before. There we go. And once we're logged in, not doing that anymore. We need to take three elements. Code. Is it happy with that? I thought we had filter. Oh, capital F filter. Yeah. Ah, you're in the browser. Sorry. There we go. So we have filter, code, all these things. However, should be filters query. Oh, it's filters query query. I'm not in that. Filters query query. We were here. Okay. Code, scope, and state. And what are the types here? What's expected to take one argument, but it takes three? Yeah, I would expect it to take. Oh. This function takes 0 arguments. All right, how does this work? I was thinking that it would let me name the query parameter that I want. But I see here, query, it lets you deserialize the query parameters as a type. So we need, let's try and use this. We'll create a type and have that type being passed in. Okay, let's create a little type here, struct. Let's say this is which response, whatever. If code, we have scope and we have state. It's gonna want a lifetime. Let's see if we can actually use lifetimes here. Deleted lifetime not allowed there. Oh, oh, it doesn't deserialize. These are just strings. Yeah, what was the other option for that though? Query and then raw. Go back to the code and try to just patch this up. Actually, no, let's go look at one of their examples. Warp, repository, examples. Do they have query parameters? Server-side events, TLS stuff, auto-reloading. Oh, I want to see that. Huh, that's neat. We'll have to come back to that. I'm not seeing query stuff in here. Body compression, dir file features, headers, etc. Rejection. That's too bad. What about tests? Do they have tests? Query. Here we go. Oh, can we just do hash map? Oh, that'd be perfect. Or my args. Where's my args defined? Here it is. Eh, let's just do that. Okay. I don't think I have Saturday actually in here directly. Does warp re-export Saturday? I don't remember if it does. No. Okay. The code. Nope, no Saturday yet. Cargo Saturday. Do I need derive on that? I think this is what I'm looking for. Okay, let's get that building. Serialize. All right. I see. It actually wants to give us the thing. It doesn't want us to borrow it. It wants us to own that. Fine. It also means these will be strings. Okay, that's good. Now, how do we actually do the validation? Now we can deserialize the query parameters, which is nice. I like having that sort of structure there. That is really nice. In fact, we could deserialize those into this better known types. If this OpenID Connect has types for these, we can actually put those there. Where were we over there with that? Warp, Master Rust. Yeah. So if we go back to their example, oh, come on, it's here. Go to the examples. We're going to go to the async example. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm going to scroll down to it just a moment. There we go. Async await API. So the portion that we've done, we've created the URL. We've redirected people to it. Okay. Once the user has been redirected to the URL, you'll have access to the authorization code. For security reasons, your code should verify that the state parameter returned by the server matches the CSRF state. That's good. Okay, so we should do that, but we have to save that somewhere. Now you can exchange it for an access token and ID token. Access and ID token. Okay, we need the verifier. PKC verifier. I don't know where we're going to get. I know that it's actually generated right here. We have to actually keep that around. Hmm. Is that serializable? So set PK verifier and the request. I extract the ID token claims from it, verifying its authenticity and nonce. That's where we get the nonce out. Should have. Oh, and stat, that should be state, not stat. So here we received code, scope, and state. Okay. So that code becomes an authorization code. Let's see if we can deserialize from that. I'm going to copy this URL, tab, paste, bring that over. I want to look up authorization code to see if it can come from these other types. Okay, it does do deserialize. Lovely. So we can take that, go back to our code. Code here is now an authorization code. Well, that'd be nice. Okay. Okay, and what about the scope and the state, though? Scope. They also have that. It also implements deserialize. And what about state? They don't have state, but I think state is actually something else, isn't it? Because we were supposed to verify that the state was the same. State parameter returned by the server matches the CSRF state. I see, so that's a CSRF state. CSRF token. And that looks better. I don't think we need partial equal on this. Oh, for auth code. Fine. Interesting. Because you could probably make this much more generic, right? Make this not Twitch specific there. A lot of this stuff, I'm guessing, could just be pushed into some generic flow here. Uh, okay, it's good. So this other stuff that we get back, or was it? It's here, the CSRF token and the nonce. These two elements we need to use later. However, there's one other piece we need to use later, which is the PKCE verifier. This PKCE code challenge, I want to see what that actually returns. The new random SHA-256. That returns a PKCE code verifier, and it can be serialized and deserialized. Oh, lovely. Okay, what is it? Okay, so we could actually serialize that to something. I wonder how big that would be. Because we'll also need that. I'm thinking of just stuffing this all inside of like a cookie. I don't know if that's a good idea. Right. Oh yes. Four things. This is going to be a ACE code verifier. Okay. Now back in main. Because we could set a cookie with all this stuff in it. CSRF token, the nonce, and the PKCE verifier. That way we're not saving, like, using up server memory for when stuff kind of goes back and forth. Okay. It's good there. Let's create another structure here. Struct. Let's see. OAuth. Cookie. Derive. Serialize and deserialize. Okay. One of those. And we're going to toss in these 4 elements here. Or 3 elements? The CSRF token, the nonce, and the verifier. Okay. Now let's grab the return type here. All right. Oh yes, and these are all OpenID Connect things. Oh my goodness. Multi-vim failure. All right, let's try this again. Down, down, www, OpenID Connect, colon, colon. There we go. Oh, where is Saturday? But you can't clone the PKC verifier, which is weird because you can serialize and then deserialize it, which is effectively a really expensive clone. All right. So what format do we want to serialize it into? JSON? So you can't put binary stuff in a cookie, can you? Unless you base64 encode it. Cargo add Saturday. JSON. I don't want to do JSON. Cookie is going to be a OAuth cookie. Oh, come on. No. Tab. Delete target comma. Good, save, done. All right, now here we're going to set cookie. Cookie. Oh, that's right. And this needs to be different things. We have to format it. So let's rename this one /rn. Cookie. Let cookie equal to format. Oh goodness, we have a lot of stuff to put in there, don't we? This stuff. OAuth, now we're going to have the value there. This is what we're serializing it into. It's going to be a string. It should just fit there. Put a semicolon on there. And during the redirect, we'll give people 5 minutes. Oh, at 10 minutes, 600. HTTP only, make it strict, sure, whatever. Now we have to give it the OAuth. I don't know, that still seems short. An hour, half an hour? How long does it take to log into Twitch? Even if you have to create your account. Half hour? What is that, 3600? Oh, 1800, that's an hour. Okay, and this should be cookie. Okay, so we'll serialize this, toss this in a cookie. Oh, I also want to do a path. The path for this cookie should only be valid for /Twitch login. Path equals, what was equals? There we go. Okay. Twitch login, same site, yada yada. It's pretty good. A lot of this stuff is just kind of very prototype code. Like it's very rough. You would never make cookies like this. You would abstract this out a bit. Right? And some of this stuff is going to come from some sort of configuration and so on and so forth. So don't think too highly of the way this is laid out. I'm really trying to get this prototype for how to log into Twitch with these other things set up. Once I get Twitch in there, I'll probably toss in like half a dozen other ones just to make this work for multiple different types of logins. And then I'll probably set up some little prototyping, like a test server that's just always running that I can have people like testing the game on. Okay. Validate Twitch redirect is never used. Twitch validate redirect. Validate redirect is used here, which is supposed to be used here, but that's not used yet. Dead code. All right, this is fine. Or Twitch validate. There we go. Now it's all used. Twitch response isn't used. Okay. Okay, so at this point, Get a couple things. We get the response. We also want the cookies. We want a cookie. Dot and cookie. Call it OAuth. Yes, warp, warp, warp. Cookie, cookie. I think that's where it is, based on anything else we've seen. I forgot to set a marker. Okay, marker right there. All right, next one's going to be a string. Actually, can we say this cookie gets deserialized into something? That would be cool. Let's check. Filters. Cookie. Cookie. Oh, it always extracts it into a string. Okay. OAuth cookie is going to be a string. There we go. Now we'll deserialize that. Oh, no, 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 no. Still in the browser. Gotta get going inside soon. Hoping to get this loop full. Okay. So at that point, we want to deserialize the cookie. I forgot the name of the structure. Where'd it go? Oh, OAuth cookie. There it is. Okay, so let um, hmm, cookie like this, and we can give these elements names. Whatever. From stir? I don't remember. Yeah, from stir. Yeah. OAuth cookie. That's going to fail. Unwrap. Unwrap. Yeah, all these unwraps need to be handled properly, like sending back failures, etc. Oh, that needs a type. That's OAuth cookie. Okay. So now that we have that, the next portion. All right. So once the browser comes back, right, we get the auth URL back. Once the user has been redirected, I'm reading from the documentation, right? Once the user has been redirected to the URL, they'll have access to the authorization code. For security reasons, your code should verify that the state parameter returned by the server matches the CSRF state. Let's do that. And that's going to be in OAuth cookie. Assert, actually, we're just going to let it panic here. Assert that OAuth cookie dot CSRF token is going to be the same as Twitch response dot state. So those two have to match. Okay. I'm going to apply unary operator to the CSRF token. Why not? Or CSRF token. New random secret. That's a string. Get the secret contained within that. So how do you compare them? You get the secrets and compare the secrets. Okay. Code. I really don't think this is the way to do it, but really, can't apply that to that. And what if we borrow? No, no, oh, no, no, deref. Apologies. Oh, assert equals. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I think we still need the secret there, but the rest there should work. Okay. Okay, that should be validating that. I think I'm going to have to encrypt the cookie. Okay, so once we've done that, we get that. What's the next step? The next step is now I can exchange it, quote unquote, whatever it is, for an access token and ID token. Lovely. Okay. So basically, we take this. Authorization code. I already have that. That's a code there. So Twitch response auth code. Oh, we have to take it. No, 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 okay. Twitch response dot code. Oh yes, and client is gone at this point, isn't it? Oh, bogus. So I'd have to make that whole client all over again. Interesting. I guess I could reuse them. I'd have like a pool of them. Yeah, that seems like it's something that should be possible to inject into these requests. Okay. Because really it's like this thing all over again. Need to build that up. So I think this thing here is gonna have to get built up, and I'm expecting that it's clonable. See, where is client? Because if it's clonable, then I can just make those pretty easily. There we go. Or basically use atomic ref count or some sort of pool, depending on how expensive it really is to clone it. All right, we'll have to do that a bit later. Coffee time. Coffee. This is fun. I'm glad that the loop is almost complete there. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of a to-do on here. Do I have a to-do file? I don't. So to-do. Let's see. The first one is going to be make a pool of, what is it, OIDC clients object to the warp handlers. What else? Oh yeah. If I could spell that correctly. UCTLY. What after that? I guess we're validate kind of. We're in the middle of that. What will happen first so that we can validate these? Generic. Let's say make a PR for the OIDC. What was it? It was the not the client. The CSRF token, I think, should implement partial equal, so you can compare them without pulling the stuff out of them. Okay, that's a really good list. I'll add a couple more things to that probably when I think of them. I'll review kind of what we did today and look through that. Let's see, how are we going to be raiding today? We'll raid Adam. All right, y'all. Everybody probably knows what Adam does. He's been around here for a bit. Tomorrow we'll try to get the OpenID stuff all wrapped up, get that flow going, and then on to more of the actual game piece of it. Is going to like then as people have like actual IDs, we'll have some sort of database. Be nice to get that set up. Just be able to store stuff like that, and then maybe some UI stuff. A lot of stuff to do, but it's fun. It's nice exploring this route of building a web app with the notification streams. And fun. All right, y'all. Till next time. Bye bye.